Opinions discussed on Canadian Love by our guests are not representative of the crew or host. Facts may be referenced that we cannot back up, so please don't listen to everything you hear on the internet. Resources mentioned in the video will be listed in the description below. Please do your own research and come to your own conclusions. Thank you.
Oh my god, this is where the weekend used to live. We gotta get a picture.
Today on Canadian Love, we'll be interviewing J.C. Moses, a famous producer known for $1 Million Makeover, Drunk Wisdom, and Jesus Meets the Gay Man. Let's go investigate his Canadian Love. All right, so here with me today is Jean-Claude, who also likes to go by JC, and J.C. Moses.
Yeah.
Where did the Moses come from?
It's because I have all this white hair. Like if I grow my beard white, it becomes like white, super white.
Okay.
Like I have no black anymore. Like I'm not like salt and pepper anymore.
Right. You just full white beard.
But I've had white hair since I was 16. So
wow.
You know, and then it's all gone. That was Corey Hart's fault, you know.
Corey Hart did this?
Yeah, Corey Hart's fault because I did not know that he had handmade gel. Okay, in the 80s, I bought that crappy shit from Shoppers Drug Mart.
Okay, yeah.
You know, the you don't remember this, no.
Nah,
yeah, it's all his fault. He didn't tell us he had handmade gel.
Handmade gel?
Yeah, because we used to spike our hair in the 80s. And
oh,
shit like that. Yeah,
and his gel?
His gel was handmade, and we bought the crappy shit, and that's why I lost my hair.
I'm so
sorry. A lawsuit. That's a lawsuit against you, Corey.
Yeah, Corey, if you're watching, you owe this guy some hair. Or something like that.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
Or at least an interview, for God's sake.
At least an interview.
Yeah.
So you used to spike your hair with Corey Hart?
I love the guy. I thought he was great.
Okay,
and I used to totally spike my hair exactly the same way.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, and wear my sunglasses indoors because that was the kind of cool thing to do.
Nice.
Especially when you're high. In high school.
In high school? Wow. Yeah.
And then the teacher always say, take those sunglasses. Oh, man, damn it.
And then you take them off.
And then you take them off, and then you would try to pretend not to stare, or then because you couldn't wear your hats either. You were not allowed to wear hats, and
right, yeah.
So you couldn't wear your hat.
Day.
I was like, damn. And it was a Catholic school, but we didn't have like uniforms or anything. It was just that you couldn't wear
hats and sunglasses.
Couldn't wear hats, sunglasses. Yeah, kind of sucked.
And then would the teacher be able to tell that you were high?
Oh yeah, because then we'd be laughing. You're laughing at everything he says. We're talking about history and the Great Depression.
Oh
wow!
The
Grapes of Wrath. Like we're laughing.
Yeah, that's not something you should be laughing at.
No.
If you're laughing at the Grapes of Wrath, you may be high, or it's really dark comedy.
Yeah, that's true.
All right. Well, and JC, I wanted to shout out to your radio, DDP.
Yeah.
So just to pull people in here, what is DDP Radio? Tell us a bit about this.
DDP Radio or DDP as a whole? DDP Studios?
DDP Studios.
Okay, well, DDP Studios DDP stands for Dirty Dirty Panties. No, sorry. Stands for Different Drum Productions. It stands for Different Drum Productions.
Yeah.
And it's based upon a book from Scott Peck, who talked about community. And I felt like the artist community had lost its way of community. Money had become the way. I have an artist, I have to make it. I have to make it to Hollywood. I have to make $10 million a picture like Will Smith. I have to do this, I have to do that. Forgetting that the fact of the purpose or the wisdom of actually becoming an artist to begin with.
Yeah.
So us and a whole bunch of producers, because we all got terminated from Rogers. After Ted Rogers passed away, we kind of like let go. But at the time I was producing the $1 Million Makeover without the price tag, which was, I was the one that coined the phrase $1 Million Makeover, and everybody else afterwards took it.
Wow.
But yeah, we had raised 32 contra sponsors from the limousine to everything, and it was basically a television series about people helping people.
Wow.
So I felt like everybody was at the time, pitching the weakest link, Big Brother, and all programming is about cutting each other up and throwing it. Our civilization didn't survive that way.
No. Yeah.
So why are we doing Olympic programming that creates this division to begin with? I couldn't understand it. So I felt like we should take a more of an intelligent approach to television and programming by offering something that was a little bit more like productive like bringing
Yeah.
communities together. And yeah, when I did the $1 Million Makeover, fuck man, I just died of AIDS, and I just came back.
Sorry, you died of AIDS?
Oh yeah, dude, yeah, totally died of AIDS. Don't ask you to do that. Okay, it just happened.
You look great
But it changed.
for
No,
someone
it
who
changed.
died.
Oh yeah, I'm like really happy that I'm alive. It's called Good Canadian Medical Care System.
To Canadian Medicare.
Yes, yeah. That's now dwindling. That we got to keep fighting for.
Yeah.
But no, it was a time after that where life changes you. There's a big experience, and then you look at life in a completely different way. And Scott Peck's book on community really kind of affected me, and so that's how we started DDP, through the $1 Million Makeover.
Yeah.
And it was about, so the series we got national attention in the last episode, which was incredible.
Yeah.
Everybody in the press that covered us, from CKDO to CTV to CTV.
Yeah.
We were all over the place. And so I realized, I said, you know what? Yeah, I'm onto something. I'm onto something. You know what I mean? Like I said to myself, no, we're onto something. So after the Rogers fiasco, when Ted Rogers passed away, the new owner and the CEO laid off 21,000 Rogers employees just on that. And the people don't realize that, but it was a big layoff.
What
or
was
termination, just termination, really.
What was the rationale behind that? Just
because he didn't support local cable as much as he did, so the new owner didn't care, thought it was a loss. But Ted Rogers was really a big advocate of local television.
Yeah.
Because local matters. That's what it was, his big motto at the time.
Nice.
And I felt really comfortable working at Rogers Television in Oshawa. And I helped with the Ontario Hockey League when John Tavares actually used to be there with the new General Motors Center.
Yeah,
so I used to teach volunteers how to shoot hockey and how to shoot sport, how to set the camera up, and stuff like that. So it was all fun.
That sounds great. Yeah.
Yeah. So but at that time I started DDP because Rogers is like.
Yeah. Like
too much bureaucracy. Yeah, too much bureaucracy. So we started that series, The $1 Million Makeover. And now we are ddpstudios.com. Like now we do television, radio podcasts called DDP Radio. We did our first movie called Jesus Meets the Gay Man, starring Scott Thompson, Paul Bellini, Carla Collins. I even got the Village people on it, man. That's awesome.
That's amazing. So tell me a bit about Jesus Meets the Gay Man. And then we'll get back to Canadian Love content.
Yeah, Jesus Meets the Gay Man is a comedic documentary film about me, about my own story, but also my own reflection about, because I went through that whole Pentecostal church thing, pray the gay away program crap. Okay,
wow.
At the time, and but then I wanted to do a documentary not to criticize the church, because a lot of people had good intentions. It's not that people don't have good intentions, as most people do. It's just you get caught up in this kind of dogma, on the topic. So I did a comedic documentary. I thought sometimes the truth is often discovered through humor.
100%.
And so we did.
Sorry, as who said?
As Melody Beatty would say.
Melody Beatty.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I thought, let's do this. Let's do a comedic documentary, so I twisted Paul Bellini's nipples. I twisted Carla Collins' nipples. I twisted all these nipples from all these comedians.
That sounds really fun.
And so we just kind of went, hey. And, I say, what would Jesus say to a gay man? Because, because everybody has a different archetype of what Jesus is, and everybody has a different archetype of what a gay man is. Yeah. So I figured I would give a relative answer of who truly Jesus is and who truly a gay person is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Cool question.
The common sense.
So as soon as the comedians took it on and they ran with it. I said, holy shit, this is great. So we made a doc out of it. And then
that's awesome.
We got rejected from every single major film festival that I can think of. And it was so sad because it was a good doc. It was funny. It wasn't mocking Jesus at all, so we didn't mock Jesus. Yeah. You just, had fun with it, of the scenes.
Yeah, definitely.
Like we had this one scene that was called Who Touched Me? It's that scene in the Bible. From a gay man's perspective, it's that scene in the Bible where Jesus is like, and everybody's all around him, touching him and all that stuff. And they're trying to say, hey, heal me, and heal me. And then, Jesus says, who touched me? And then like the disciples are going, well, Jesus, like everybody's around you. Like, what the hell are you talking about? You. No, and then Jesus turns around, no, who touched me and drained me of my power? Remember that scene? And it was the woman that said, and says, if I only touch the edge of his garments, I'll be healed. So, you know, that whole scene in the Bible.
Oh,
So Jesus turns around, picks her up, and he says, your faith has healed you. So this is kind of a pivotal scene. So we made a joke out of it. That we had, like, you know, the same scene happen, exactly the same way, but with a gay guy in it.
Yeah.
And Jesus says, well, I know you touched me. Yeah. So we make that kind of scene with you know, with the gay guy, and me being the gay guy, of course, in the scene.
Yeah, that sounds amazing.
But you know, we had a lot of fun doing the whole project. I basically had my actor friends and comedian friends who just commented at one after another, and then we just put it together.
Yeah.
So,
and it's a very community project.
Yeah, it was a very series of. I didn't take ourselves so seriously, because how could you take yourself so seriously? I don't know the whole truth.
Yeah.
You know, the Bible was written 325 years after Jesus, his resurrection and death, supposedly, by a man who's a conqueror, a Roman conqueror named Constantine the Great.
Oh, Constantine the Great wrote the Bible? He pulled all that.
Well, he's the one that brought
together?
all the bishops and said, we're going to determine who's Jesus, and this is what the official religion is going to be. So the Bible was derived by a bunch of men. No women on that committee, just saying. Okay, no women allowed.
Noted.
Even though the Book of Mary Magdalene and the Book of Mary exists, but they're considered Gnostic Gospels. We don't want the woman's opinion.
Oh, wow.
To be part of that.
This is interesting. So there were women gospels in the original set of biblical texts.
Oh, yeah. There's
and then Constantine didn't have women on his committee, so they got scratched.
Yeah, because women didn't have a voice in those days. So why would you have a woman's opinion about Jesus? Oh, God forbid. So the relative Bible that you have, so for me, the distortion of who Jesus is, or Joshua, or Emmanuel, whatever name you want to give him.
I like Emmanuel.
Yeah, so what I'm trying to do with the documentary is to open your eyes to that fact.
Yeah.
Open your eyes that the Bible is not absolute fact, just like the Quran is not an absolute fact either. So we look at its history.
Sorry, the Quran is not absolute fact?
Yeah, I know.
Why?
Have you read the Quran?
I haven't.
Okay, so if you read through it, you'll realize, oh my God, it just sounds like the Bible, and then and then if you read the Bhagavad Gita, I also read that as well. I'm reading that right now.
What's that one?
That's the Indian religion of, the basics of Lord Krishna.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So, and I'm reading that, and I'm like, it sounds very similar again to Christianity. Like, it almost seems like we create religion as an order of conquest to position status or order or structure.
But meanwhile, it's the same spirituality.
Yeah, like you get the same kind of themes going on about, like, Jesus was the most prevalent of all of them. Because he never picked up a sword.
Fair.
So out of all the religions, he's the one that I kind of singled out as being different. But then again, a lot of people don't even know if he's alive or not. So when we did the documentary, we had to hit Christian culture and we had to hit gay culture at the same time.
Yeah.
Like, what a mix! Like, what the fuck? Like, how do you do that?
Yeah.
And
These
then,
are two cultures that have not necessarily been great to each other.
Yeah, that's right. And we had a few scenes that had, no, you can't put the scene in here. iTunes said, we had a skit called The Human Jesus, and you could find it on YouTube, by the way. And it's called The Human Jesus. And basically it's a skit about Jesus, having flatulence at the end, and because he's human.
He is also
because
human.
The Bible says that Jesus was the Son of God, but also the Son of Man.
Yeah.
Being a Son of Man meant that he was human, meaning that he must have farted around with 12 disciples, okay? Like, seriously.
He'd be farting.
He'd be farting.
He'd be farting. He'd be making jokes.
Be making more jokes.
He ate stuff. Yeah, he probably made a lot of it. He was probably the life of the party. I mean, he made water into wine. That's pretty party central.
That's really party central. That's huge party central. Like, really? Imagine that, eh?
Yeah.
Jesus. And so we recreated that scene too in the bar.
Okay.
We did do the wine scene, the water bottle scene, where the waiter goes up to Jesus and he says, "Oh Jesus, can you, like, the bears drank all the beer again? Could you do that water bottle trick again?" And Jesus waves his hand and comes up with the Labatt's, a Molson, the Guinness, and the Carla Collins, which is a drink with Xanax, Percocet, gin, tonic, and vodka.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a drink.
That's a drink.
I love the idea of a modern day Jesus being like, "Oh, what do you want? Tom Collins, Carla Collins, Jesus, can I get a vodka on the rocks? Yeah, whatever you want, man. Here, go ahead." Whoosh.
We showed the scene. We were trying to get advertising from Labatt's and from Molson, so that's why I had the bottled in.
Yeah.
So I call Labatt's and I call Molson.
Yeah.
They all laughed. They all laughed their heads off at the scene. They
Yeah.
like, oh, this is great. This is funny. And then all of a sudden they said, but we can't. Because they felt the scare that the market would kill them. Because we're having, having Jesus. So I said, okay, all right, so I'll just blur you out. And he said, what are you going to do, reshoot the scene? I said, no, I can't afford that. What the fuck are you doing? I got no funding on this shit.
Sorry, reshoot the scene? You realize that this is a zero budget production.
Yeah. So what I did is we just blurred out the bottle and gave it a swear word, like bleep, bleep, bleep. But Guinness is the only one that didn't say a word.
Really?
Guinness didn't care. Yeah, go ahead.
I love it, yeah.
Sure. I drink my share of Guinness, so I know.
That's fair. That's
but I was,
where they were at.
Yeah, I was like totally cool about that, so we kept them in. It says, yeah, I honor you for that, for not saying it. Didn't give a shit about the advertising.
Nice.
For them, there was like more advertising than none. They didn't give a damn.
Sure, yeah.
Who cares?
And if someone gets back to them, they can be like, oh yeah, we didn't really know what it was about. We just said yes, whatever. Were they Irish? Because Guinness is an Irish company, right?
It is an Irish company. Yeah, I had to write to corporate head office because our film was aggregated internationally. So, like we're on iTunes, Amazon, NBC, Comcast. We're on DirecTV, AT&T, and Verizon View.
Yeah.
And through the aggregation, you have to go through an international kind of law.
Fair, yeah. International law for international aggregation. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Just picturing, just.
So what's with the toga? I want to know more about the toga.
Yeah.
I want one now.
Okay, isn't it great?
You gotta give me
this.
a rainbow one.
Oh my God, yes. I also want a rainbow one. I mean, the idea is basically, it is a gimmick. Not gonna lie, it's a gimmick.
Yeah.
Because we are talking about issues that sometimes get people very passionate.
That's true.
And we want people to feel comfortable and relaxed and not take it too seriously.
That's right.
So one way to do that is I show up wearing, somebody's beautiful old curtains, and it's a toga, and then, it's harder to take things seriously. It's harder to, feel judged when the person asking you these questions is wearing curtains.
Yeah. That's right.
But the other thing is that, because what we're working towards is the idea of a better democracy because people are discussing issues that they disagree on, but actually listening to each other and actually taking in each other's opinions.
Yeah.
That that's what democracy should be. People should be engaged. People should be debating with each other, and it should be loving so that they're actually taking in other opinions. And that brings us back to the ancient Greco-Roman roots of democracy, where people wore chiffons and tunics and togas.
There we go.
There you go.
Back to being Roman again.
Back to the ancient. I heard something great.
You did know that Rome did fall, eh?
Yeah, I heard that. Yes, I heard about the fall of Rome thing. Unfortunate.
This is the new Rome toga.
Yeah. Welcome to the new Rome.
The new Rome.
I like that a lot.
You talk about democracy and about speaking to each other. I heard because we have a black token cameraman here.
It's true.
Yeah, in the audience. So. I was speaking to Black Lives Matter because I was like wanting them to not lose their cause, okay?
Yeah.
So, because you can't fight intolerance with intolerance. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Removing the cops. Now we can't have the village people on. Like, we can't have the village people now on in our parade because you got a male cop, the sexy black cop with a billy stick. You just pissed off every gay guy's fantasy, you shit fucks. Like, what the fuck? I was so mad. I was like, what the hell's wrong with you?
Why can't black people also be gay cops with twirling batons?
So I said,
white people can do that.
Whoever PR stunt tried to do that really fucked up, okay?
Yeah,
and so this is what bugs me about. And I've tweeted this many times to Black Lives Matter here in Toronto going, stop it. Stop it. You can't fight intolerance with intolerance. I tell you the joke. Stop it. I says, you need a new PR campaign before you lose your cause.
Yeah.
Go, just stay underground for a bit. Because I don't believe in the police lynching. Because, I got perspective of Black Lives Matter in the States from Paul Jay, who used to work here in Toronto at CBC.
Yeah.
And he's the head of the network for the Real News Network in Baltimore.
Oh, wow, yeah.
So he's the one that, talked to me more about Black Lives Matter. And we're talking on Facebook or something. Is he black
as well?
No, he just supports the cause down there as a reporter.
Sure, yeah.
He understood the reasons for why the cause exists.
Yeah.
And so for me, I'm like, I love causes and I love things, but when you do something stupid in the name of your cause, holy shit, stop it. Stop it, because then you look stupid. You know what I mean? And the other thing too, I told Black Lives Matter here in Canada is this is a Canadian market, so I've been interviewing them.
Yeah.
when they came to Pride, okay, the first time, because I
We should interview them too, by the
Yeah.
way. Yeah.
And I used to go on Pride all the time. And that year, I couldn't release I couldn't release anything. Because I don't know where these girls were at, but they were not thinking straight on what they wanted. First, you can't yell at Canadians. You have to speak with Canadians. As soon as you yell at Canadians, you don't get your cause across. As soon as you speak with Canadians, you get much more people's attention.
Yeah. We are
You
a
know.
polite people by culture.
That's
so
right.
if you want to talk to us, if you talk rudely, you won't get across.
That's right. The marketing is completely different here in Canada as far as like culture and so forth, who we are to get. So they're using an American style type of, and they have rightly so. Some of these videos I've seen of the police lynching is just fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
And you know when they
Police lynching? Police.
I call it police lynching. Lynching either by real lynching or police lynching by lynching them legally in the system that just makes them forever a criminal.
Yeah.
It pisses me off. It's
for sure.
It's degrading and it's disgusting, and it shouldn't be allowed in the 21st century. And we have fucking cell phones in our hands. We have tricorders in our hands, dude. Like, think about it.
Yeah,
tricorder.
we have tricorders.
Like, we have tricorders in our hands. This should be Star
base to
Trek,
captain,
Yeah. And yet our systems
And
and
we have
politics,
phasers, right? Zzz. But sorry, and then our systems and our politics.
Yeah, and our systems and our politics should be up to at least 3.0. You know what I mean? Or at least to an iPhone 10, or like 10.0. And this is what bugs me right now. We have artists now backstabbing artists over green pieces of paper.
Yep.
What's happened to us artists? We used to be collaborative. We're the ones supposed to change the world. That's how much power an artist does have. And so this is why, DDP Studios Inc. occurs, is because we wanted to make thinking fun again. We wanted to get the artists to think again.
Yeah.
You can't tell good people about their ethics. You can only help good people with their ethics when the reasons are not always clear.
Okay.
Because everybody has a set or their own sets of ethics.
Yeah.
If I'm preaching like that Gillette commercial.
Okay.
Okay, no offense. You saw the Gillette commercial?
No.
You never saw it?
I don't think I've seen this one.
Oh my God, yeah. This is a Gillette commercial. You'll refer to it, okay? If you gotta refer to it, because it was so badly done. And they were trying to teach people about bullyism and also about and it was so mocking towards women at one scene. Because there's this one scene where this woman's in the boardroom. She's all dressed up and there's a board, and a whole bunch of men around. And this one man goes up to her and goes, I think what she really meant to say. And then she's got this teary look and like, fuck you. That's the first thing that said to my side. I said, fuck you. A real woman in the boardroom like that, in a real position here in Canada or anywhere in the States. First of all, she said, touch me one more time, sexual harassment. And number two, let me men speak to all of you men in here who haven't read a book in 40 years. Okay, let's go over it again.
Yeah.
She would fucking control that woman. Women are powerful.
Yeah.
I'm sick and tired of these kind of programs trying to make women look like victims, trying to make this other society look like victims. Stop it. All you're doing is enforcing that dogma.
Interesting.
Does that make sense to you?
So there's two things that I want to one thing I want to
I got passionate there.
Yeah, no, that was beautiful, and I want to lean into this. So the first thing is, I really agree with you that, if you want to fight intolerance, and people have suffered so much.
True.
But if you want to fight that, you have to do it with love. If you fight it with
That's
intolerance, you are not going to fight intolerance. You're going to create more intolerance. Even if you have every right to be angry, the anger is not what's going to make change. The love is going to be what changes the intolerance.
True.
Totally agree with
True. But you see, anger can also be used to raise awareness. Like, I think that's what anger has to be used more so, because you can't get rid of the emotion.
Sure.
But like, you remember when Bernie Sanders did down in the States when Black Lives Matter came up to his podium?
What happened?
He just went to the side and let them have the podium.
Nice.
And let them yell and scream and blah, blah, blah.
Well done, Bernie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I give him kudos to that. Like, I'm not going to kudos him on everything that I know about Bernie, but, American politics, I prefer to tend towards Canadian politics because I live in Canada.
Sure.
But when it comes to American politics, I said, yeah, good for him. He took the gutsy move in saying, yeah, let them speak.
Yeah. I think that's
just like what's that football player who kneels at the during the national anthem?
I
What's his name?
Colin Kaepernick.
Colin Kaepernick, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Lily.
Yeah. Colin Kaepernick, I think that's amazing. I think what he's doing, because a lot of military soldiers and generals actually salute him. He says, yeah, that's why I fought for my country, is for you to do that.
Yeah.
But for me, that's a cool protest because it's not hurting anybody.
Yeah.
Number two, you're not inciting hate.
Yeah.
All you're inciting is awareness.
Yeah.
So to me, fuck yeah, I was glad that, of course, Nike came in and, plugged away. I mean, it makes the corporate dollar on that, but who cares? At least they're doing it for a good cause,
Yeah,
on that issue.
definitely.
So yeah, that's where I stand as far as like intolerance today. Tolerance is on the rise as a whole, no matter where you come from, whatever you're, Muslim, Jew, Hindu, it doesn't matter if whatever gender you're from as well. That's the other thing too, the sexism going up. What the fuck? Really? Like, this is what my opinion is about this whole issue about gender, okay?
Yeah.
Even in my own gay community, I get criticized because now I'm being mandated speech about pronouns. I said, to talk about somebody in the third person, like I have to have their pronouns correct, or I can get charged by the CRTC, or I can get charged because I didn't. No, that's a form of fascism and communism. You can't mandate speech. Number two, the LGBTIQQ2SAA community has gone a little too far. Like, look at the LGBTIQQ2SAA community.
Yeah.
The lesbian, gay,
a lot
bisexual.
of
That's right.
acronyms. Acronyms.
And we did a new PR campaign, that's for sure. Holy shit.
Interesting.
But the subgroups, when you start mandating speech on people, when you start mandating this without even asking, that's wrong. And we make judgments and false judgments about people who are against that.
Yeah.
But anyways, go ahead.
I mean, to me, I think people should feel comfortable expressing, I would like you to call me this, but at the same time, my name is Michael.
Yeah, if you call me, you ask me, I'll say, yeah, no problem.
If someone walks up to me and says, hey, what do I call you? I say, oh, my name is Michael. And if they start calling me asshole, I'm not gonna get them. I'm not gonna bring the CRTC down on them.
That's right.
I'm gonna say, oh no, asshole's not my name. My name is Michael.
That's right.
Yeah. No, it's not asshole. I used to call myself that, but now I call myself Michael.
Even
Could you
though
please
everybody
use
has
Michael
one.
instead of asshole?
That's right.
Well, true. Yes.
That's right.
But so like I definitely agree with people feeling comfortable and confident to say, could you please call me this? Because that's what we all do.
True.
But
Yeah.
we also, using law to make people have to call you that seems kind of unnecessary,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What happened to Canada? That's not even part of our constitution. We should not be mandating speech. We should not be mandating this. We should not be mandating fuck all. Okay? Canadians, but we do have a freedom of speech here, but now I've noticed in the last 20 years that there's been legislation being implemented in incrementalism where you're being forced and your speech is being censored beyond recognition. It's like this. It's disgusting. It's disgusting.
Tell me more about this.
Well, like for instance, in the hate crime laws down there, they're trying to say, like for instance, they're trying to say Islamophobia. They're trying to add Islamophobia specifically as a religion, that you're not allowed to criticize the religion in any form or fashion. I'm going, yeah, that's not gonna happen.
I mean, as someone,
I'm a comedian. I'm going to criticize everything. What the hell are you talking about?
as someone who created Jesus meets the gay man.
Yeah, you should see Muhammad meets the gay man coming.
Oh
up.
my goodness. Yeah, I bet.
It'd be funny.
Yeah. One thing that I do want to laud you on is the fact that you did this controversial comedic piece,
Sure.
but you did it without shitting on Christianity.
That's right. Yeah.
I think that's very important. You can call something out, you can tease something out, you can play with what that would mean without being aggressive and angry.
Yeah, I took a very Canadian way to do it. That's basically like what Kids in the Hall would do, and
Yeah.
I had a lot of help from Paul Bellini, he's the one that wrote Kids in the Hall, and then Scott Thompson, and then Rick Mercer made some comments as well, Maggie Casella, like a whole bunch of comedian friends, Carla Collins, like these guys are great. To give me the wisdom to talk about an issue that nobody wants to talk about. And the other issue too that I wanted to talk about in the documentary that's more pertinent is forgiveness, reconciliation, and renewal. We rarely talk about these topics. Oh my God, like in the film set, you forgive each other all the time.
You have to.
Because the things you say to each other, we should have been arrested a long time ago according to the hate crime laws that we have now. Because I think, one time we were on the set, I was on the set last year, and Yeah, we were doing a Hallmark movie. You know, one of
Okay.
those Hallmark
Yeah,
movies,
of
soap opera
course.
stars, and
Yeah.
you know, it's fun. And it's a smaller crew, and the sound man, his name was Carlos, and we had to rake all these leaves because this guy, it was behind a mansion. We had to do this scene set up. So
Sure,
the boss ordered all of us to like go rake leaves.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck. I'm a grip guy, a cameraman. So anyways, we didn't give a shit. We just rake leaves. Anyways, Carlos, for some reason, was like hanging around. Hey, Carlos. I says, isn't it in your genetics or something like that because you're like Mexican or something like that this is easy for you? Why don't you come and help us? We all burst out laughing. He burst out laughing. We fucking never laughed so hard. But we forgave each other. He knows I'm not serious.
Okay.
But
yeah.
the things is, we could get charged if somebody secondhand heard this. This is the law now in Canada, that a person who hears it on a third party heard what I said, they can charge me.
Yeah.
And then they can charge
yeah.
everybody else for laughing.
Yeah, including Carlos himself.
And probably, yeah. But Carlos, fuck, he laughs so hard. But the things, that's the kind of things you do on the film set, you know, just make, you know, like, you know, it's funny.
Yeah.
And we laugh at each other's cultures because you have to. Because if you take yourself so seriously, and you know, and if you can't find the weaknesses in your own culture and your own race or your own gender, then what's the point of living? Life would be so fucking boring. Then I wouldn't have a job. I would not have a job. I could never do anything.
Right. As
know.
a comedian, laughter is kind of a thing you do.
You have to.
I want
Sorry.
to lean in a bit to, because you mentioned earlier that you found an article, Islamophobia is on the rise, and then you started writing your own article about intolerance is on the rise.
That's right.
Can you tell me a little more about that as well?
Yeah, you know, when the Notre Dame church got burned down,
Yeah.
you know, and I did see a lot of likes on Twitter, and I saw a lot of likes of people, even from my own community, LGBTQIQ2SA community,
Yeah.
even putting likes on that. I said, that's disgusting. But, and then the thing is also what's disgusting too is that when, you know, I saw likes from Christians and saw likes from other people when, you know, the mosque got massacred, you know, in Christ Church.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there was also another church that was being massacred down in Nigeria, 103 Christians massacred by a Muslim faction.
wow.
So you have this tennis match going on Facebook. No, my community's better, your community's wrong, blah, blah, blah. And then everybody starts naming each other's atrocities. And meanwhile, so it's intolerance.
Yeah.
It's intolerance that's on the rise, not Islamophobia or Christophobia or homophobia or whatever fucking phobia we're going to put next to. It's the intolerance of the, you know, or the clash of cultures.
Yeah.
Like you got to admit, like there's a lot of clash. My mother from Timmins
Yeah.
said there was like a whole bunch of immigrants that moved up from there from Syria because they're trying to move them all over to Canada.
Yeah.
My mother, they moved them up during the wintertime where it's 40 below in Timmins. Okay.
Ouch.
Yeah. My mother says, they don't look too happy. I said, yeah, I wouldn't be too fucking happy coming from like a hot, humid place to like a 40 below zero. Of course, I'm not gonna be too happy. I
That's
don't know
a
who
pretty
thought of that.
shocking
I don't know.
thing,
I don't know
like-
who thought of that. That was kind of stupid. They could have left them, you know, closer to the south of the border or something like that.
At
But the
least for
culture
the
shock
winter.
must be like tremendous.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Coming
between
to an
that.
entirely new country where your dominant religion is no longer the dominant religion, you no longer speak the language. Like,
That's right.
what must that be like?
It must be horrendous. So you know, I see all this culture
I
happening.
interviewed one of them.
Yeah, culture clash. And so I came up with this article, and then I saw Now magazine, of course, being so weirdly on this one-sided of logic. Islamophobia is on the rise. I'm like, and then they had white lies, naming out white people. That's racism right there. And not only that, some of the people they were naming was not justifiable, which pissed me off too, because when you take time to listen to people, you start realizing, you know, like in general, when it comes, so when I look at that, I look at this in intolerance. I
Yeah.
look at human beings in the following way. We have a lot more overlapping personalities and similarities of, you know, even among gender, like you're a woman and he's a man. You got much more overlapping you know, personality types, more so than your gender differences. And then people try to eliminate gender, and I says, well, you can't. I mean, it's like a woman who experiences estrogen fully in her body, she's going to it affects neurologically differently than a man who's constantly producing testosterone, it's going to affect them neurologically. And which the reason why the trans community was actually, when I first started investigating the trans community, is because the trans community at the time, there was a social scientist that noticed there was an elevated amount of estrogen in their bodies, and the trans men that he was actually interviewing.
Yeah.
So as a social scientist, he said, well, perhaps maybe that's the problem, that on a neurological level, because we have hermaphrodites. You know what a hermaphrodite is?
A hermaphrodite?
Hermaphrodite, yeah.
Yeah.
No, it has a male and female organs.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
at the same time. So, and then, so I thought, okay, well, there's a connection there. Where what about if the trans men are experiencing a higher level of estrogen in their body, that affecting them neurologically, thinking that they're a woman within the side of the male genitalia.
Yeah.
So thus the conflict, and thus the reason wanting to become a woman.
Mm-hmm.
And so I saw a new culture emerging, and that's how I saw the trans community.
Yeah.
And now the trans parade is bigger than the gay parade.
Tell me about
So,
the trans community as a new culture. That's very interesting.
well, the trans community has been around for a long time in other cultures as well. But in
Yeah.
Canada, it's been a new culture because the phenomena is there.
Yeah.
And I think because I've seen people who do get the sex change, and the transformation is beautiful. Like I interviewed Jenna Telakova, who was the Miss Universe. She was in the Miss Universe pageant.
Okay.
So I got to interview her, and I got to help out on the documentary called Behind the Dress. And yeah,
Nice.
I coined it actually too.
Oh, nice. Very
And
nice.
so we talked about the issue of the trans community, and this woman's a woman. She looks like a woman. She walks like a woman. She's a fucking woman. I don't
Yeah.
care whether she was a man before. She's a woman.
Yeah.
And there was no doubt about that to me in my mind. So for me, it's like, who cares? Like, what floats your boat is what floats your boat, man. I'm not going to bitch about it,
Yeah.
So
definitely.
to me, that's a new culture emerging, and that's why I was really excited. But I think it's got distorted over the years, and the trans community got so much power now
Yeah.
that now we're trying to whip everybody with it. I'm like, whoa, you know what I mean? Intolerance can come out from good causes.
Sure.
You
I
know what
think
I'm saying?
that's-
So intolerance. It's always
Yeah,
about
yeah, yeah.
our intolerance, like where far we're going to go. I know we've got some minutes left here, but
Yeah. I mean, I definitely appreciate that
I
perspective.
have a lot to talk about. I'm very loquacious, so you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
of course.
You know.
I do see something over there. Is money our dictator? And I know you've been talking about the artist's role in society,
Mhm.
and versus, as you've said, artists betraying each other for small pieces of paper.
Yeah.
And then I'm seeing, is money our dictator? Tell me a little bit about that writing and where it comes from, and your feelings on money.
Yeah, the feelings of money is I heard this quote from on the Vice documentary where this rich billionaire gets his citizenship in 12 days in New Zealand,
Yeah.
while most immigrants it has to wait for years before that even occurs.
Yeah.
And of course the reporter's saying to him, he says, well, that's not fair. Well, why should he just get his citizenship in 12 days and the rest of the citizens not? And then of course the consultant to the wealthy, of course, replied very in confidence, which was eerie. He says, well, no, money has its own set of rules. And yet he stated that an absolute truth, but he states it as, is it true? Like if he had stated that years ago, like 30 years ago, that would have been shy or booed upon in a way.
Yeah.
But today, it's funny how it's in the cognitive map of society that money has its own set of rules. That if you have money, you could do whatever the fuck you want. If you have money, you can get away with murder. If money, you can get away with this. If money, you can get away with that. If money, you can buy a politician. If money,
Yeah.
you could do this. You could start setting policies that don't even make sense or don't benefit society. So, I have to question the very details of that. Like, is money a dictator? Yeah, it can be. Or is the
Interesting.
people using the money the dictators?
Hmm.
You know,
I feel like money has always been doing that, and it's just coming to light more now.
like I like money, man. I like to go out,
Yeah.
and go buy a Big Mac
I
once
mean,
in a while. And
I live in my
splurge
parents' basement. I would love money.
No, exactly. So it's not that people don't want money; it's the distribution of its wealth that's the problem right now.
Yeah.
It's
Interesting.
so off. It's all over the place. We need a jubilee. I think the only responsible thing that we can give, and this is quoting Michael Hudson, he's an economist, and in the Judaic law, in Judaic law, the Jews used to experience a jubilee every 50th year because they knew that the math would never work for the amount of debts. Okay.
Oh,
And
okay. So, so what is the Jubilee exactly? Like, I've heard of the Queen's Grand Jubilee, but I don't actually know what that
No,
means.
Jubilee means a wipeout of all debts, completely down to zero.
Wow.
Because we live in a debt curve society where you can have a recession in one market and you can have a growth in another market at the same time.
Yeah.
So you're all in debt illusions. You're all in an illusion of what's good, what's happening in the world. And what we need is a Jubilee where you go down to zero.
Wow.
And then you restart up again. And the Judaic law used to do that for every 50th year, and it worked. It always stabilized the economy, and the economy grew even further from that.
Yeah.
And we need a worldwide Jubilee.
A worldwide Jubilee.
A worldwide
what a
Jubilee.
thought. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Just cancel all the debts, all of these.
I could cancel a lot of debts.
Oh, well, fair enough.
Credit card, yeah.
Right? I mean, I think there are several, literally entire nations who are just handing their resources over to their previous colonizers to pay off their debts to the colonizers that came in and said, your country now belongs to us. Oh, here's a bit of money.
Canada did that. We can get out of debt like that. Our laws right now, currently, the Bank of Canada Act. Have you heard about this?
No.
Bank of Canada Act was founded after our forefathers, after the Great Depression, where we would take money out for infrastructure for everything through our own mint. We have our own printing company here, okay, so we do. And when we print money interest-free, we build the Trans-Canada Highway, we built the railroads, we built hospitals for women, we built like hospitals all over the Canada. Infrastructure was all built from interest-free. So the Bank of Canada Act right now is being subverted since 1974 by Pierre Trudeau, by the way, a Liberal, party, who gave in, who just ignored it and started taking out loans from a company called Geisig and DeVrient, which prints the world's money, which is the International Monetary Fund, which they print the money. Here, the subsidiary company in Canada is called BNA International. They print the money, but at triple, quadruple the interest, compounded daily.
Wow.
So currently our national debt, or provincial debt, I think is only 465 billion in provincial. Our international debt is like over 800 billion. It's just disgusting. So, and it always compounds. So every time you hear a politician say, we will balance the budget, we will balance the budget, we will balance, fuck you, you're not going to balance the budget because you can't even pay off the goddamn debt that you already have. The debt is always compounding daily. So every time our tax money comes in, we only have enough tax money to pay off the current taxes or the uncompounded interest.
Yeah.
Why are we paying money to a foreign bank? Basically, it's like having a bottle of beer that says Canada.
Yeah.
Okay, and the beer comes from fucking Germany that they shipped all over across seas that costs us all those duties and fares, which makes our beer even more pricier. Even though it's got a Canadian label on it, the goddamn beer is coming from Germany. Disgusting. And all we need to do is an act of Parliament right now. The Prime Minister can do it right now if we all wanted to do, is to reenact the Bank of Canada Act. We wipe out the old debt, and then our HST and all our money would then go towards that old debt.
Wow.
And then our economy would be stable again. We have the most stable economy, and the only other economy that's taken on our advice is Iceland. When they had their financial crisis, they arrested all the bankers, and reenacted the Bank of Canada Act on their end on the same way. So Canada has no excuse.
So why did Pierre Trudeau do that?
Kickbacks, man.
Wow.
Bank money, then you get a loan from this bank, a loan for that bank, and a loan for the Liberal Party.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's all about kickbacks.
So Pierre Trudeau sold our country's money.
And not just Pierre,
privatized.
not just Pierre Trudeau. The Conservatives too agree to it. Like all of them agree to it.
Parliament at the time.
Yeah, Parliament at the time.
And they were all like, "Yeah, okay,
So,
throw us some cash and you can have our money system." Now that is privatization.
Dude, yeah. If you really want to check out confirm that data, talk to constitutional lawyer Rocco Galati.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's bleep out his name so that no one goes looking for him, but let's go looking for him.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, let's find this guy and interview him.
Yeah.
This is fascinating because, like, we sold off, like, you know.
Yeah, we did.
You know, I've heard a lot of people saying that what Ford is trying to do right now is, among other things, hamstring our healthcare until a private company can come in and take it.
Oh yeah,
and then we have to pay a lot more
money. Who do you
money.
think he was meeting down in New York City and down in LA? He was meeting all pharmaceutical companies. He's trying to. Yeah, of course he's getting a. The guy's a crook. The guy's a crook. complete crook. Look what they did with the cannabis laws too. Like that was a complete crook. With
Tell me, I do want to go back to this. Well, let's finish it. So yeah, so Ford is trying to do that with just Ontario's healthcare.
Yeah.
I can't believe that Canada did that with all of Canada's money printing.
Oh yeah.
Like that's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's the biggest scandal in Canada. It's
And
all
no
over
one
the
knows.
internet. But even a
It is?
12-year-old, even a 12-year-old child did a speech on it, and you could check it out. Bank of Canada Act. It's part of our constitution, and all you need to do is all you need is members. Each individual, even in this room, you write a letter to your MPP, and you keep saying, "I want to reenact the Bank of Canada, reenact the bank," and the pressure from the public will then push a political ideal.
Wow.
Because we can easily get out of debt, and we can easily get the Canadian economy. We should be the richest country in the world. We should have the biggest GDP, gross domestic product average. We should have more money than the United States of America because of our resources alone.
Right, we do have a lot of resources
Yeah,
here, a
that's
lot of
right.
rocks and trees, and things like that.
Those golden grahams, oh, those golden grahams.
So we're now out here on JC's beautiful porch, where people come to take selfies because the weekend lived upstairs.
Yes, the weekend, the weekend used to live upstairs,
Oh, that's so funny.
and I guess he must have moved out maybe just a year or 6 months after I moved in.
Okay, yeah.
And I'm pretty sure it was him that kept coming to my door because he thought it was his buddy. He was asking for a sandwich or something like that. But anyways,
I've never gone to
this place
someone's door asking for a sandwich.
this place used to be a big crack house.
Oh wow.
This was and then when my partner and I had split up, we sold the condo, and then I came back to my old stomping ground in Parkdale.
Nice.
You know, thinking, I got to find my own spot. And
Yeah.
the rent is just it was atrocious at the time. So, what I started doing is I started looking, and then I saw a sign here, and then the landlord showed me this basement apartment here. This is a bachelor's apartment.
Yeah.
I says, "Oh my God, no! I'm going to commit suicide in here. It's going to be too small. Like it was really small." I said, "No."
Yeah.
He said, "Well, the guy upstairs just gave up his, his notice. Do you want to check it out?" So I go upstairs, and it was like huge, 12-foot ceiling.
Yeah.
1,500 square feet, and he wanted $875, utilities included. I said, yeah. I didn't care.
No.
I didn't. It's like it was the space, and it was the fact that it was like a big space, and they had just put new hardwood floors, and the fact that it was utilities included.
Oh yeah.
I said, here's the last month's rent, and that was it. And then I was really fortunate, and then we developed DDP Studios from here.
Wow.
And
really cool.
Jesus Meets the Gay Man was produced from here. All of our productions are produced from here. Drunk Wisdom was also produced from here too.
What's Drunk Wisdom? Because that sounds really fun.
Oh, Drunk Wisdom was a TV series which we started interviewing drunk people.
Did it matter who, or just, oh, you're drunk, come on in?
No, we had to be drunk. The person had to be drunk.
Yeah.
And then we had to ask the 3 questions we asked is that there's more wisdom in the question necessarily the answers you're going to get. Okay.
Ah.
So there would be 1 question on sex and relationship, 1 question on philosophy and spirituality, 3rd question on politics and conspiracy.
Ooh.
So we asked like sex and relationship question, like is jealousy a sign of love?
Yeah.
Yes, that's
Nice,
drunk people. Yeah. Oh my God, fun. That's all I can tell you.
Okay, that sounds very fun.
Like if the political and conspiracy question, if Donald Trump happened to be gay, what drag queen name would he have?
That's an amazing political question. on the next Drunk Wisdom.
Yeah.
Donald Trump's stage name.
Stage name. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we just went nuts with these questions, and we've been 26 episodes later. Television still won't take us on though, because because they don't like, what it is they don't like the questions, because it interferes with some of their, I guess, realities. They want to keep the world in ignorance. I guess I'm not too sure. I find television keeps trying to keep people in ignorance a lot.
How so?
Like like our newsrooms now are just like parrots on a bunch of perches, repeating the same seeds from Reuters and the Associated Press without any thought anymore. No questions onto what's really going on in Venezuela. No questions of what's really going on with this Russiagate bullshit, which we've seen this McCarthyism going on. No questions onto the realities of what's truly going on in the country, or to realities of truly what's going on the political level.
Yeah.
And there's this hyperbole going back and forth in the name of news, and the journalist is not even defined anymore. And it's just, I find these realities just really damaging.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we all know CNN is fake. I know CNN is fake. Before Donald Trump said it, every serious journalist knew that CNN was fake.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
from years past of being caught with their pants down so many times with lying. So
Right.
you just can't do that. So for now, I'm like, I'm in a miss to know what's going on in the world, simply because of the amount of crappy tabloid news.
Yeah.
News porn, I call it.
News porn.
News porn. You want to watch news porn? Watch CNN, MSNBC, and ABC, CBS. Watch those television programs, and you'll get plenty of news porn.
So, and I know that you you have a mentor who did a lot of investigative journalism.
Yeah.
You were telling me a bit about that. What do you feel is the spirit of that is now missing? What have we lost?
Yeah, like Phil Pendry was my mentor, and he's a cameraman to many. Like, he was the cameraman to Morley Safer from 60 Minutes before he passed.
Wow.
So when we were down in New York City, we were invited down to New York City to CBS.
Yeah.
And I got to write the speech from my mentor to speak at the memorial.
Wow.
Well, I got to speak to some of these journalists there, and some of these journalists were saying, "Oh no, we're not allowed to say what we want to say anymore. We're told what to say. Everything's being scrutinized." So even these veterans,
Yeah.
I said, "What do you live in communist China? Like, what the hell? What's going on here? Like,
Yeah.
what do you mean you're being told what to say?
Seriously.
You're supposed to report the truth. That's it. What's going on?"
Yeah.
So no, even them, they're just waiting to retire, I guess. They probably had too much alimony checks or too many. I don't know what's going on, but the news has really changed the way, and especially the internet. And
Yeah.
I think what the internet has all done, the internet just woke us all up to realizing that we're all fucking slaves still. Oh man, we're slaves.
But still,
Shit,
oh,
still.
damn it.
Now we're just slaves with debt. Now with the credit card.
Slaves to capitalism.
Master, yeah, a slave to capitalism. And I think that's what's happened. That's what's happened to our world. The internet is really, that's why they're trying to control the internet now.
Right.
Facebook censoring, and people don't realize Facebook has been bought out. If you don't realize this, ladies and gentlemen, that during Variety magazine actually had this article where CNN, ABC, CBS, and all of them, even including Fox News, bought Facebook Watch Video. Okay? So when they bought Facebook Watch Video, that means their videos were going on first, and any other alternative voices were then being shunned.
Wow.
Dark.
Wow.
That's what happens with money. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Money has
Money is
rules.
a dictator. Money has its own rules. And so they started dictating to what was newsworthy and what was not newsworthy.
Wow.
And meanwhile, you've got all these news stations that have been caught lying after lying after lying after lying after lying, like what happened to WikiLeaks,
Yeah.
Julian Assange, which is just an atrocity to journalism everywhere.
Tell me about this, because I'm not as familiar.
You're not familiar with WikiLeaks? WikiLeaks was founded by Julian Assange, who is formerly, actually he was a hacker at one point,
Oh.
when the hacker population, but then he just started publishing information from hackers who had hacked
Yeah.
government
who had
websites.
found
Who
information.
had found criminal evidence of crimes beyond measure, like war crimes that would make you cringe, and he gets now pushed into an Ecuadorian embassy for 7 years because all he's done was publish damning information that what the federal government of the United States has done
Yeah.
and what other governments around the world has done.
Wow.
So he's made quite a bit of enemies but he is a journalist in true nature. All he's done was publish documents that are damning
yeah.
these institutions.
So if we want the real truth, we may need to enlist the help from the dark web hacker community.
Oh yeah, exactly, and that's
Hey
what's
guys,
happened.
stop selling children porn and get on WikiLeaks.
Yeah, no
because
kidding.
we need your help for the truth.
And then when you read WikiLeaks documents, no one has disproven Julian Assange at all.
Yeah.
No one has disproved any of the facts that he's had.
Yeah.
So the fact is that, okay, so now why are we wanting to extradite him now to the United States? Because the United States wants him dead.
I bet.
They want him
Yeah.
dead because he's done so much damage to the reputation of all like a lot of American institutions, especially Hillary Clinton. He really pissed her off.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
when he divulged documents about her. You remember her
I
her
remember
emails?
something
Did you ever
about
read
the
her
emails.
emails?
No.
You go to WikiLeaks and you read her emails, you will die because you were like, she calls us plebs. She calls us what? What? She's so demeaning. She treats herself like as if she's some goddess, okay? I'm like, oh, that's what it was. She thought she was going to win because Donald Trump, we're going to play a game of Faust, because that's what the politics of the United States has become, this theatrics of bullshit, okay? Where,
Sadly.
okay, Donald Trump was going to play the bad guy in Faust, and she was going to play the Ave Maria, and, you know, she was going to win the presidency to be the first woman, because we already had our black token president, so now we need our white woman president, okay? And the next one's going to be a trans president, okay? So,
I mean, in itself, that does sound great.
yeah, that sounds great. And you think but it's all imagery, and you think Obama wasn't a good president. People, oh, how do you
wasn't?
say that?
Yeah,
Yeah, when
thought it
Harry,
was great.
yeah, when Harry Belafonte, you know Harry Belafonte? Harry Belafonte walked with Martin Luther King, okay? He was there when Martin Luther King got shot.
Wow.
In 2009, when Harry Belafonte is on stage in front of like 4,000 African Americans, he said to Obama, straight to his face, "You denied us. You're a horrible president, blah, blah, blah. You killed so many people in Libya. You did this, you did that, you did this. You're a horrible president." And he was. People think that he was the glamorous president. And no, he wasn't. What he voted for was executive orders to kill citizens with American drones. He's the one that enforced the laws on journalists.
Okay.
And he also signed the National Defense Authority Act, giving him the full right to instill martial law. And then he just handed this to a talk show host named Donald Trump. Like, oh my God, like what the fuck?
Wow.
So no, these
I
presidents are no good. I think the oligarchs are no longer fit to rule, and I think that's where I stand firm now in my belief that all these presidents and all these candidates that are up for power are just oligarchs picking these candidates. You know,
Right.
to be president or to be the leader of this country and that country.
Just like Fox News and CNN are picking which videos we see on Facebook.
Thank you.
It is oligarchical, massive corporations choosing the candidates that we then have to say, oh, which one of these do we want? But
Yeah.
they're both owned by
Yeah, I know.
oligarchs.
Like when I saw the two candidates for the presidency, I said, what? Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton? Hillary Clinton was already a crook. I knew that from the 80s.
Why was she a crook?
Oh my
I
God!
always thought she
The
was just
travel
Bill's long-suffering
agency.
husband.
No, the
their
travel
wife.
agency scandal. She was also the one that also had that big scandal about the HIV drugs that she said her charity was supposed to send over to Africa, and she sent duds instead, knowingly that she knew that she was sending
She
like
knowingly
placebos.
sent placebos to Africa
Yes.
for AIDS?
Yes, and there was another scandal too with
No.
their Clinton Foundation too, where she was accepting $900,000 from Emirates, who abuse women, who has 6 wives that they could bitch slap anytime. But then she stands up for women's rights. I was like, what? She's a hypocrite. Okay, we all knew it, and every time she goes up for election, she always loses anyhow. So I didn't understand why they were picking her as the
Wow.
woman. Like right now, my favorite candidate in the United States of America is Tulsi Gabbard.
Okay, tell us about Tulsi.
Oh my gosh, she's
And then
so
let's get back
awesome.
to Canadian politics after.
Yeah.
But tell us about Tulsi.
Tulsi Gabbard, she served her tour in Iraq and Iran. She served as a major. She's a congresswoman from Hawaii. She served in politics for many years. Her foreign policy is reasonable. She's calm. She's collected. She's a leader,
Yeah.
and you could see that in her presence when she talks. She's not like she doesn't jump to conclusions about issues.
Yeah.
And
okay.
I think she should be the perfect candidate for the next president of the United States. Oh my God! If I could be her gay husband, I'd totally be her gay husband.
Amazing, yeah.
I love her.
Should,
Like she's
Send
awesome.
her a message, see what you think.
Yeah, hey Tulsi, can I be your gay husband? Totally, darling. Just when you come to Toronto, we'll go shopping.
Oh,
know.
we could all use one
And
of
I'll
those.
tell you what things that your husband won't tell you when you go shopping. Yeah, that's right.
That is what gay husbands
Because the
are
husbands will never tell their wives the truth. They never. No, they never. When they go shopping with their wives,
Yeah.
they never say. You know, their wife goes, "Hey, these jeans look fat. Do these jeans look fat on me?"
Yeah.
Husband's never gonna say the truth. Are you crazy? He's not gonna say no. You need a gay husband to say that. See?
Which is
Yeah.
a shame because I think, men should be allowed to A, pay more attention to aesthetics, and B, be real and honest with their spouses and partners and not be worried about getting laid that night.
Yeah. But is that a reality though? Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. I just figure it's easier for them to have, like, all intelligent women should have a gay husband. That way, it's, they can go shopping. They don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
And, their husbands are free from doing whatever, making sure that I'm just saying, it's a symbiotic relationship.
This could be a website that gayhusbands.com.
Yay, there we go.
Want to go shopping? Let's go
Yeah,
shopping.
I hire myself as a
Boom.
gay husband.
That's
There we go.
amazing.
And I hire a whole bunch of other gay guys.
Want to
that
go out
says,
for dinner?
good.
Talk about your problems with your actual husband? Boom, let's do it. Gayhusband.com.
Yeah, then I become the crux of everybody's relationship.
Oh my goodness!
That'd be
Wow.
horrible. Maybe
Okay,
that joke.
okay, challenge.
Maybe I have hold up on that joke. Maybe.
So JC, so you're loving Gabor. Did I say her name right?
Who?
The candidate.
Tulsi Gabbard. Yeah.
Gabbard. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
What do you think of Bern?
I
Because
see
he's the
Bernie
one I know
Sanders-
of because
Yeah,
of the previous race.
Bernie Sanders should have, like when he started, he
Yeah.
had the voice of the people.
Yeah.
Because at one time he had like 6% of the votes, and then he threw, like that's why Hillary Clinton had to win by super delegates, because she would never have won. And then she was caught cheating on the primaries. She cheated on the Democratic primaries. Bernie Sanders should have won,
Yeah.
but she was caught cheating.
How did she? Like, what did she do?
Well, her email showed that she was cheating on the primary. For
Wow.
instance, a super delegate gets like 10,000 more votes than a regular delegate from the Democratic Party. So, but
Okay.
even Donna Brazile, who's part of the Democratic Party, confessed that she had cheated on the election.
Did Hillary just pay off a bunch of super delegates?
Oh God, yeah.
Oh.
Oh
wow.
yeah.
Oh,
You know
shit.
that. You know that for a fact.
Yeah.
So,
Wow. Okay. So, and I mean, I saw her as a better alternative to Trump. I still believe that, but like, it doesn't sound like she was great.
no,
But
she was
any-
horrible. She would have been just as bad of a crook as Donald has been. Like Donald Trump is basically, you got to give him kudos when he does something good, and then you got to like say, really, a wall, really, Venezuela, Donald, like really, what the fuck's wrong with you? Like
Okay,
a wall.
What are the things that he's done that you feel
So-
are positive?
Getting out of Syria. And I think, because there was a stupid, useless war in Syria. Because who are you fighting? Assad, the ISIS, or the Russians? Pick one, for fuck's sakes. Like, that's
Right,
the
yeah.
whole point. And there was a confusion
Basically, the
about that.
Cold War set
Yeah.
in Syria.
And it was all about the gas pipeline that was wanting to go through Syria. So it was all this fights between, and internally. But
And he got them out of there.
yeah, he got him out of there. I voted for that.
Well
I told
done.
him off about the wall. I think it was really old Berlin. Like, really? Come on, we know walls don't work. What the fuck's wrong with you?
Yeah.
And the other thing too, but I did agree with him on what he did in North Korea.
Yeah. What did he do in North Korea? I mean, the way I understood it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the sources of media I subscribe to are very left, but the way I understood it was he went in, had a bit of a pissing contest,
Yeah.
and it
Well-
kind of worked. Like, what happened
And where? Sorry,
in North Korea?
in North Korea? No, he didn't have a pissing con. He's the one that actually bridged the peace between North and South Korea.
How? What did he do?
I don't know.
Donnie?
He was promising maybe a Trump Tower. I don't know. He negotiated Trump Tower in North Korea, happy young Trump Tower or something like that. It's probably his hair on the top is going to open up into an elevator pad, like a helicopter pad. Sorry.
That's amazing.
Who knows? I don't know.
But he negotiated. Donald
He's
Trump,
the one that's.
someone who
He's
I've
the one
always
that's.
thought wasn't
Listen,
great.
look, I'm going to quote this. I don't know if you knew, but Obama, down to Bush and a Bush and a Bush, and even down to Reagan. North Korea's biggest beef, and it's been on the table since then. Okay, on the foreign policy. Please do not pass planes over my country with nuclear armaments. That's all they wanted, was the United States to stop passing planes near their borders overseas with nuclear armaments.
That sounds pretty reasonable.
Yes. And in return, they will stop building nuclear bombs or whatever. Okay?
That sounds somewhat reasonable.
That's what Trump did. Oh, okay.
So after all
what
of
about
this,
that Trump Tower now? Can I wear what about that Trump Tower now? He's probably like, he doesn't give a shit. He just wants Trump Towers in every city, and then he's going to claim bringing peace to the nation just by, But the Trump is best. I'll tell you right now, Trump's the best thing that happened in the United States of America. People go, oh, like as the oxygen escapes from the room,
Yeah.
And I say, yeah, it's like Mr. Magoo taking a bus right through the fucking mall and waking up every American to how corrupt and how disgusting their politics have become.
Wow.
And that's the only reason why I agree with the fact that he's in power, is that he woke up Americans, because you finally got progressive politicians coming up now. You got progressive thoughts now coming up, where you got really serious leaders now, like running for Congress. And that's what the United States needed. And
Trump was the kick in the pants that woke up America.
yeah, they elected a talk show host. Holy shit! It's like, you know what I mean? Like,
Okay, fair.
yeah, you know.
Oh wow.
You know, I think that's what happened. I think it's also people voted for Trump because it was a fuck you vote, because they all knew it was all bullshit. So I think people wanted to throw a wrench in the machine, like a sabot in the machine, like a, you know, the word sabotage. You know, they throw a sabot in the clog.
What was the original sabot?
You know, the shoe from the Dutch. You know, that wooden shoe.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, sabot.
Oh.
Yeah.
So the word sabotage comes from throwing a sabot, or a Dutch wooden shoe, into a machine,
Yeah.
like a wrench into the gears.
Yeah, it was a way for them to protest against the working conditions at the time.
Wow.
Yeah, it was just kind of neat.
And it seems to be working. Now, my one thing about that is it does seem like he has been a bit of a calling point for old-fashioned things like MAGA and maybe some
Oh, the
racism
MAGA hats, you mean?
and Charlottesville and all this. Can you talk to that at all?
Oh, I don't know. You see, the thing is, the whole Charlottesville thing is a mystery now, because now people are saying that it didn't exist, it didn't happen, or it didn't what happened. My point is that tolerance, no matter where it comes from, needs to be addressed and disseminated, regardless of what groups you're from, even the groups closest to you. Okay, you have to. It's like if my LGBTIQ2SA community are intolerant,
Yeah.
I point it out. You guys are being intolerant with this. You
Yeah.
have to stop. You don't have the right. You don't have the carte blanche to being intolerant to another society because you think so, because you know wrong has been done to you by them.
Yeah.
Because then you're just playing a tennis match, and then there's no peace that comes into resolve. You know.
Interesting. Yeah.
So
I mean,
he hasn't stirred hatred. I think all he's done is that now people are putting a label, and it's like, let's label him for the cause of the existing hatred that's already been there. You know what I mean? Like I don't believe that everybody who wears a MAGA hat is an asshole. That'd be like saying to me that, you know, everybody who wears a police uniform is an asshole. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Some people get into the police force because they really want to
really
help people.
care. Yeah. So to generalize and to make generalization is a lazy way of thinking. Very lazy thinking.
So no matter
'Cause-
who you're generalizing,
Yeah.
don't. Sorry, because why? You were gonna.
Well, I'm just going to quote Martin Luther King when he says that a person should not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I mean, that was the biggest opening of his speech.
Yeah.
And then people don't realize that Martin Luther King's last protest when he got shot, the protest he was supposed to lead, it was not a civil rights issue. Had nothing to do with civil rights, had nothing to do with race at all. It was called the Poor People's March. And he got shot for that. And because he realized that it was not about race that was causing the big division, it was inequality of income.
Yeah. And
And-
the racism was just a way
Yeah.
to get the poor people fighting each other
That's right.
so that they wouldn't actually take on the system and
Yeah.
the rich.
That's right. And Martin Luther King knew that. He understood that. And you could see even in the speeches and his sermons as you go along that he had come to that realization.
Yeah.
And when he was going to expose on the Poor People's March, I guess the oligarchs said, no, he's got to go.
Yeah.
We can't have this. We had a
Whoa.
gravy train going on, man. We
He's
had all these
unifying
things, yeah.
white poor people and black poor people. Okay, that's it.
That's it.
Shoot him.
Yeah, we got to
Yeah.
get rid of him now.
He can talk about one part of their civil rights, but as soon as he unifies poor people against the rich, they
I
shun him.
celebrate every year Martin Luther King Day.
Yeah.
Because
We
I
all
find
should.
his speech
do
just
that.
resonates to the soul.
Yeah.
And I always need a reminder of it. You know what I mean? Like, is it like, oh, yeah, remind us of that
Yeah.
cool speech to remind us of where we come from. So, but
That's beautiful.
Yeah, man.
That's beautiful.
If-
I think we're probably running out of time here.
Yeah.
I want to pull this just quickly back to Canadian politics.
okay.
So, is Doug Ford going to be Ontario's Trump that wakes us up?
I think
Or-
so. I think he already has.
Okay.
I've seen so many characters on poor, like not poor. I don't call him poor at all.
I mean, he's not poor.
Oh my
He's a
God.
Rich.
He's just listening to everybody else tell him what to do. He's just a puppet right now. He's just a mouthpiece because that guy has no independent thought of his own when it comes to politics, apart from the $1 a beer or $1 a beer campaign, which no one has been able to do. No, I find his policies kind of ridiculous. And like, how can you justify cutting down expenses for education and health when you have an overgrowing population, an overgrowing demand for that population?
Yeah.
And then you want to reduce the services.
Yeah.
He's not mentally ill. And the conservatives seem to think that they can do so, and they think they can. But the reality is no. It just does more damage. And so we need to get back to the Bank of Canada Act. I think that's what it would be. You know.
I mean, yeah. I mean, maybe that's the thing. Like socially left policies and more money for healthcare and education, along with just taking our own back from the bank.
Yeah.
Wow.
Going back to basics. Going back to what our forefathers wanted us for us. So that we never be broke again.
Which was that we own our own money making.
That's right.
Yeah, we need to take back from the privatization of our own financial money system. Like we don't own our own money.
And
That's
it's such
ridiculous.
an easy pass in Parliament. That's all you would have to do is you just introduce a bill in Parliament and reenact the Bank of Canada Act, because it's still in force.
Yeah.
They're just subverting the federal law. That's all we're doing. We're just avoiding it.
We're just getting around it. We're just finding loopholes to sell off our money system.
That's right.
Wow, so it is against the law for Canadian politicians to sell off our money, but they've found ways to do it anyway so that they can have short-term personal gain. And meanwhile, now Canada has national debt, and then that creates fear, so then conservatives win because people are like, oh, we need to reduce the debt.
That's right.
And it's all coming back to that.
And it's all BS, like really, a lot of it, when you come down to it. So
It's all just green paper.
I don't know. I'm over talked right now. Are you okay?
Yeah, you know what? This has been wonderful. Let's give you back your day. But JC, thank you so much for being on Canadian Love. I really appreciate everything you've said.
No problem, mate.
We're gonna throw some links to his stuff in the comments section. Check it out. Check out Drunk Wisdom. That's hilarious. Check out Jesus Meets the Gay Man, because I think you've done great things with that.
Oh yeah, you're gonna love that.
Yeah. And then as always, please feel free to share us, tweet us,
subscribe,
gram us,
like
subscribe, like us.
Like us. No
Facebook,
dislikes, eh?
YouTube.
Likes, yeah.
Yeah. And if you don't like us, or if anything about this struck you strongly, please comment about it, talk to your friends about it, get them to yell at us, or come on the show and yell at me here.
Amen. Awesome.
Amen. Thank you, JC.
Cheers, mate.
Really good time.
Awesome.